Hello, welcome to Home Library. I am Tess Phillip, a seasoned educator and currently a homeschooling mama, and I'm here to walk through three things that we often overlook when we're teaching our children to read. These are things that are easy to forget, that are really important, and it helps us encourage more play within our homes to build up these skills within the body so that our kids can be proficient readers when the time is right. So the first thing I want to cover is muscles. We often forget how much work it takes to actually sit and read a book. Our trunk is working, like our core and our midsection and our legs, whether we're sitting on a chair or on the floor on a flat surface or on a sofa, we're using those muscles. We're also using our shoulder muscles, which are, our neck muscles, which are supported by our core and our trunk, and our head muscles to either, when we're looking at a book, we need to adjust our head and hold it comfortably to be able to look at the book. So any play that we can encourage where our children are using big muscles is actually going to support them when it comes to reading. Because if those muscles aren't strong, it's really uncomfortable for them to sit and try and focus on learning to read or reading a book because their bodies are uncomfortable. So climbing, swinging, sliding, running, kicking balls, jumping, trampolines, anything that requires their whole body and those big body muscle movements is going to strengthen their core, strengthen their legs, strengthen their neck so that they can sit comfortably to read. Another thing that we often overlook is eye tracking. So when we read, we in English read left to right, top to bottom, and we have to track the words and we have to go from line, I guess I should go this way on the video, line to line. And training our eyes to track in that direction and in that way takes work and it takes effort. So any games and activities that we can play that train those parts of the eyes, because kids don't want to sit and do eye exercises. I don't want to, it's boring, but they want to play. So things like train tracks, right? We've got any ball games or things where you're rolling a ball or a car or whatever it is that they want to roll back and forth. They're learning to track. My kids really like foosball and, shooting like the pool cues with the billiard balls and air hockey and soccer and baseball and cricket. All of those games where your eyes are working on tracking something is going to develop those muscles behind the scenes. And so once those muscles are developed, when you go to start to teach a child how to track across the page and point with their finger, their muscles are already ready to do it. And so the actual skill of tracking to sound out and read and decode and do all those other things will be much easier. They'll be more ready for it. So training those big muscles, training those eye tracking muscles. And the last one is the midline. Now, our brain is divided into two sections, our left and our right hemispheres, and it's almost like this imaginary line is drawn down our entire body. And if you watch babies play, we always often encourage them. We want them to clap. And we always, that's one of the first things that we really want to, engage and interact. And that clapping is actually that baby, that little one, finding that midline. The next thing that needs to happen and progress after we've found the midline is learning how to cross the midline. Now, we might wonder why this is important, or maybe you can already start seeing why this might be important when it comes to reading and writing. If we can meet and cross the midline, we're going to need those skills to comfortably read a book. If I'm holding this book in front of me, just to read the title, I actually go to my midline and cross it. My eyes, my fingers, my hands need to do that. Now, if I open the book, it's even more. We've got picture and words on this page and on this page. We've got both sides of my body, and we've got to cross the midline to read these words and to take in these pictures. Now, if I want to turn the page, again, I need to cross the midline and come back. If you're writing a sentence, it's the same thing. You are going to start on one side of the paper and you're going to write. And if it's in front of you, you're going to cross the midline to start it and you're going to write. And eventually you're going to go across to continue your sentence. And then you're eye tracking down to the next line to write your next sentence. And those muscles in your arms and your shoulder and your head need to be strong so that you can continue to write your story and you have the stamina. So these are 3 things that we often overlook when we want our children to learn how to read. They need those big muscles ready to sustain and to hold their body in the positions to read and to write. We need their eyes to be able to track, finding where they are, where they need to go, what they need to look at and focus on for reading and for writing. And we need to be able to find and cross that midline comfortably. Games that cross the midline, anything that has them reaching for things. Train tracks are great ones. I can even see my children crossing the midline playing with Lego because they've got pieces down and they're reaching and grabbing for things, right? So any games and activities in play that you see them crossing the midline. Now that you can see it and you hear it, I'm sure while you're watching your children play, you're going to be able to see that they're building their core, they're tracking with their eyes, and they're crossing their midline. Whenever you see that in play and activities, I'd love for you to add those activities to the comments, because then as a community, we'll have a bank of comments, a bank of activities that encourage those gross motor, eye tracking, and crossing the midline activities for our children to engage in. Of course, if you love this content, remember to subscribe and like. It helps to make sure that you don't miss any content coming up. And if you're looking for more support, if you're looking for a growing library of resources and a community that is passionate about this sort of thing, learning through play and engaging with our children and deepening their relationships, please remember to take a look at my Patreon community. You can join for free as a paying member and gain access to a wonderful growing community and library of incredible resources. See you soon.